Welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. The Masters tournament in golf starts on Thursday, so right now I'm going to go over some possible betting value on or against the favorites and then some of the longer shots in the field. This year, of course, the big news is that Tiger Woods is out, so this should be one of the more wide open Masters in recent years, and not just because of Tiger being out. A bunch of other top players are either injured or not playing well, and the field is also going to feature 23 first-timers, which is the most since 1935, and a lot of them are pros and players ranked in the top 50. So we might have a better than usual chance of seeing a win by a first-timer this year, and that hasn't happened since Fuzzy Zoeller did it in 1979. And that is how the beginning of the PGA Tour season this year has gone. We've seen a lot of upsets by some obscure names in the first part of the year. So let's start with the top choices. Currently at Pinnacle, there's just 4 guys with odds lower than 20 to 1. Rory McIlroy is about 10.5 to 1. Adam Scott, last year's winner, of course, is about 11 to 1. Then Phil Mickelson's about 13 to 1. And then Jason Day at about 16 to 1. And with McIlroy, there's no doubt that in general he's an elite golfer at the moment, of course, but he probably won't have much betting value as the favorite, in my opinion. He's had some trouble closing tournaments recently. His collapse in the Honda Classic is an example of that. And his odds have also been falling for the Masters. They were 6 to 1 earlier in the year. He has been very good at coming in top 10s and top 20s, but I do think that he's at best appropriately valued here. And then there's last year's winner, Adam Scott, who has continued to play well since his win last year. He's been in the top 10 at 3 of his 5 events this year, and he's proven he's for real and can be relied on to play consistently at a high level. So I think he probably does have some value to finish in the top 10, which is currently at plus 115 at Pinnacle, and also in a matchup prop with Phil Mickelson, where he's currently minus 129. Mickelson, I think, might be a bit overvalued right now. Of course, he's a 3-time Masters winner, but he's coming off of some injuries in 2013, and he's played well this year, but not spectacularly. He did just come in tied for 12th at the Houston Open last week, but overall doesn't quite inspire confidence at his current valuation by the market, and I personally, again, like his matchup prop with Adam Scott, betting on Scott at minus 129. And then Jason Day is the 4th choice. He does have 2 Masters top 5s, but a big question with him is the thumb injury that he's been reportedly dealing with. If he's 100%, then he probably does have some value as the 4th choice. But if he's hampered by the thumb, then he'd probably be overvalued at anything better than 20th or so. So for me, I wouldn't want to bet against him, but the unknowns make me want to pass on him this year. Now let's take a look at some of the longer shots that might be interesting for one reason or another. Let's start with Henrik Stenson, who's currently ranked number 3, and he's about 26 to 1 currently at Pinnacle. But those odds are pretty telling, and he might be overvalued still at those odds. He's never done well at the Masters. In 8 starts, he's missed the cut 3 times, and he shot in the 60s just once in 26 rounds. And also, he's been battling through a wrist injury that has limited him since last year. He did recently tie for 5th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which was pretty good, but then he came in 54th at the Houston Open, and I'd look to fade him in the Masters. He has a matchup prop with Matt Kuchar, where Kuchar is minus 155. And Kuchar's odds to win are about 22 to 1, and he has been playing very well recently. He's finished in the top 10 in 6 of his 9 starts this year. The only issue with Kuchar, though, is his recent performance at the Houston Open, which could be seen as good or bad. He, of course, was leading the Houston Open commandingly most of the way, but then he collapsed at the end and wound up losing it in a playoff. So it's not clear how that's going to affect him at the Masters psychologically, but there's no doubt that he has been playing, that he was playing very well for most of the Houston Open, and that he has been one of the most consistent top 10 finishers for several years now. Then there's Bubba Watson, who won the Masters in 2012, and he's currently ranked number 12. And Watson has bounced back this year from a poor 2013, and he is playing a lot better. He has the kind of long drive game that does well at Augusta, and his odds are about 27 to 1. The knock on Watson is that he has only 3 top 10s in majors in his career, but he is built well for Augusta again, and he's minus 125 matched up against Zach Johnson. That's a line that I think I like. Zach Johnson won the Masters in 2007, but he hasn't shown much since. Then if there's a value play, in my opinion, it could be Dustin Johnson. He's currently ranked number 11, and he's about 22 to 1 currently at Pinnacle. Dustin Johnson is also a big driver like Bubba Watson, and his problem areas have been his short game and putting, but he's improved both of them lately, and his overall stats are very good. This is his 5th Masters, and he made the cut previously all 4 times, but he never finished in the top 10. This could be his year. He made the top 10 in 4 of his 5 events before an awful opening round at the Houston Open, but that very well may have been fluky. Then there are a bunch of interesting first-timers who could all possibly upset this year. We'll start with Jordan Spieth is a rising star. He's ranked number 13. He was the 2013 Rookie of the Year, and he's 46-1 at Pinnacle. He has confidence in a great game, but he did miss the cut at the Houston Open. Then Patrick Reed is another first-timer of note. He's notoriously brash. He's ranked number 23 currently, and he's 48-1 at Pinnacle. He's a wild card. He very impressively won some PGA Tour events recently to draw a lot of attention to himself, but then he didn't look too dominant coming in 52nd at the Palmer Invitational. And then there's Jimmy Walker, who's intriguing at 63-1. This is his first Masters, and he also has an impressive number of PGA Tour wins since October, which was a huge upswing in his career after years of mediocrity. But he hasn't looked dominant lately, though, and he might continue coming back down to earth here at the Masters. And maybe the first-timer with the best value, in my opinion, is a guy named Harris English, who's ranked number 36, but has made the cut in all 13 of his starts this year and top 10 in 6 of them, and he has the look of a Masters winner. He hits long, he has good putting stats, and he appears to have a very unflappable temperament. He's 61-1 to win it all right now and 4-1 for a top 10 finish, and those are lines that might have some value in my opinion. And that's my overview